Welcome to the Lose Weight, Live Life podcast. If you're someone who would do anything to lose weight, yet finds it impossible to stick to a diet, to eat less, or just what you think you should, this podcast is for you. I am your host, certified life and weight mindset coach Claire McKenzie. Listen in to learn how to stop overeating, lose weight for the last time, and create a relationship with food and yourself that you love, all without diet deprivation and self-sabotage. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Lose Weight, Live Life podcast. It's been a while, hasn't it? After taking a break since earlier this year, I am very excited to be here again, ready to dive into the topics that matter the most to you on your weight wellness journey and just generally supporting you living your best life in midlife and beyond. A couple of things before I continue with today's episode. First, please do subscribe or follow this podcast to receive future episodes directly into your podcast feed. And secondly, I want you to know that I'm launching a new mini program that will run during the month of November. It's called Empowering You, and I'm going to tell you more about it at the end of this episode, but in the meantime, you can check it out at www.thebestyou.coach/empowering you. And empowering you is kind of all one word. And for those of you who are already members of the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy, by all means do check it out, but know that it is included in your membership. Okay, so as I was saying, it is so nice to be here again to chat with you and support you on your weight wellness journey. During my time away, I've come to realise something important, and that is that it's perfectly okay to step back from things for a while. In fact, taking a break can sometimes be just what we need to grow, reflect, and come back even stronger. When I look back on the more than 160 episodes of the Lose Weight, Live Life podcast, I'm really proud of the conversations that we've had and the topics we've covered. But the break has given me space to think and refresh my ideas. It's really allowed me to step away and return with a new perspective, ready to explore new areas of health and well-being in even more depth and breadth. Taking time away can be seen as a pause, as a break, but it's also, importantly, a chance to rediscover our passion and bring fresh energy into the things we love. And that is exactly what restarting this podcast is feeling like for me right now. It's a renewal, a fresh start, and an opportunity to build on everything, all of the previous episodes. And everything the Lose Weight, Live Life podcast and the bestyou.coach programs have stood for over the past 6 years. So thank you for your patience, and I hope you're ready to jump back in with me as we continue exploring the connection between food, well-being, and living the best life that we can. Because, of course, there is so much more to talk about, and I'm really glad that you're here for it. So today I thought it would be fitting to focus on the benefits of, as I was saying, taking a pause in our life to reflect and reconnect with what's important to us. So often we're caught up in the constant forward momentum of daily life, rushing from one task to the next, always striving, always pushing. But what happens when we take a moment to pause, to step back, reflect, and reconnect with ourselves and what matters to us and what's important to us and what we love? Today, I'll be sharing my personal experience of pausing over the last 6 months. It was a time when I was supporting my daughter through her A-levels and then enjoying a final summer with both of my children at home, or at least temporarily at home or home at times as they were passing in and out as they had a summer of travel and adventures. And it's also given me an opportunity to reflect on my own path and where I'm going, especially over the last month since they both left home. I'll talk about the importance of creating intentional space in our lives to pause, how we can use that time for reflection, and how this practice can lead to growth, clarity, and a more meaningful connection with ourselves and with others. We'll also explore the signs that it might be time for a pause in your own life, and I'll give you some practical ways to create that space, whether it's related to food, health, or your broader life goals. Taking a time to pause could be the key to moving forward with greater purpose and intention. So let me share a little more about where I am right now, because I've kind of sat down to reflect quite a lot over the past month, and it's been hard really to believe how much has shifted not just in my life, but in the lives of those around me. So a lot of it has revolved around family, particularly, as I mentioned, supporting my adult children through the exciting and pivotal milestones of their journeys. One moving from school and A-levels to university, and the other from university finals to graduation and moving to London to start their graduate job. It's been a time of great pride, but also one of, as I said, introspection. When your children reach these major life milestones, it also has a way of encouraging you to kind of look inward too and ask yourself, what's next for me? What do I want the next decade of my life to look like? What do I want the next 5 decades of my life to look like? What goals do I have for myself? I also turned 50 this year, so I think that maybe that's been a part of this thoughtfulness as well. And it's not just about health, although health remains my most important priority always. It's about so much more. It's about my coaching, my friends, my family, my relationships, my finances, and most importantly, creating a vision for what I want my life to be. So I've been asking myself the deeper questions. What kinds of friendships do I want to nurture? How do I want my next stage of family life to evolve? What sort of financial future am I aiming for? And most of all, what does truly living well mean? And if you're finding yourself at a pause in your life, or maybe wondering if you would benefit from taking your foot off the accelerator a little, it's useful to know there's a fine line between taking time to reflect and simply allowing life to carry you along without a clear sense of direction. And I've done a bit of both over the past 6 months, if I'm honest, but now, as I said, I'm really ready to look ahead. I'm ready to shift from pause to play, to start making those intentional decisions about the life I want to create for myself over the next 10 years. And this, as I said, isn't a solo journey. Family, friends, the connections I hold dear will continue to play a central role. But I'm also thinking about how to balance those relationships with my own personal goals and desires. How do I make room for both? What boundaries will I need to set? What habits or practices will help me stay aligned with the future I envision? I love believing that the next 10 years holds a lot of promise. They're filled with the potential for new experiences, deeper connections, more intentional approach to living. But the first step, I think, is deciding what I want from this next chapter, allowing myself to move from a period of passive pausing to one of engaged, thoughtful action. Okay, so as a part of the process of doing just that, what I've done is I've identified 4 core values that are central to how I want to live my life moving forward. And these values aren't just abstract ideas, they are there to guide my day-to-day experiences and decisions, including my relationship with food, weight management, and well-being. They help me navigate everything from how I want to eat to how I engage with the people around me. And these 4 values, or they might be different to what I might have thought they would be, and I've given a lot of thought to them, and so you might find they're quite surprising. And they are connection, freedom, growth, and beauty. And I want to tell you a little more about each of them and what they mean to me, and hence why I chose them. So let's start with connection. The value of connection is important to me not only in my relationship with others, but also within my relationship within myself and various aspects of my lives. The idea of connection to me is about it shaping the way we experience the world, fostering a sense of belonging, purpose, and understanding. I realised connection was a value that I want to align with because I've noticed how much better I feel when meaningful connections with others are a part of my day-to-day. Connection with others and deep and meaningful relationships allow us to share in both the joys and challenges of life. When you're truly connected with friends, family, or even colleagues, there's a level of mutual support that brings fulfillment and a feeling of safety. These relationships allow you to feel understood and valued and loved. They provide a foundation of trust where you can be vulnerable, seek advice, and feel okay and comfortable to celebrate your achievements. I think strong connections with others also inspire us to kind of grow and show up as the best version of ourselves, not only for our own benefit, but for those around us. But as I said, connection goes beyond the relationships we have with other people. It also, very importantly, is about the relationship we have with ourselves. Building a connection with yourself means cultivating self-awareness, listening to your own needs, and allowing yourself to reflect on your experiences. It's about taking time to check in with yourself, recognizing your thoughts and emotions, and understanding how they influence your actions and decisions. When we have this type of connection with ourselves, it fosters self-compassion as we learn to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer to a friend. When you're connected to yourself, you're much more likely to make choices that align with your true desires and values, leading to a more authentic and satisfying life. So, beyond connection being about our relationships with other people and our relationships with ourselves, it can also manifest with our engagement with different aspects of our life, whether it's about being connected in our work, in our hobbies, or in our passions. For example, when we're connected to our work, we find purpose in what we do and understand how it contributes to our broader life goals. We are more likely to feel invested and engaged, which can bring a sense of accomplishment and motivation. Likewise, connecting with hobbies or creative pursuits provides a channel for expression and joy, offering a way to unwind and recharge. Finally, connection can extend to a broader sense of purpose or spirituality. Whether you find this in nature, your faith, or a sense of gratitude for life itself, feeling connected to something greater than yourself brings a sense of peace and fulfillment. These various forms of connection ultimately interweave, creating a tapestry of meaning that can enrich our life experience and encourage us to live a more intentional, balanced, and joyful life. I also just want to bring this back to kind of food and weight loss a little bit, because I know that's primarily why most of you are here. So connection plays a massively important role when it comes to food and a weight wellness journey. Ask yourself questions. How do I connect with myself and my body? How do I respond to my body's cues and needs? Our relationship with food is at its core about connection. Understanding why we eat the way we do and how food affects us emotionally, physically, and mentally. One of my primary goals is to help others foster a healthier connection to their bodies and their eating habits, helping you to feel more in tune with your hunger, your emotions, and your overall well-being. I've realized that the more connected I feel to myself, the easier it is to make food choices that support my health rather than detract from it. And I want that for you too. Okay, so connection is the first one that I've been thinking about, both in terms of the next 10 years and also just showing up each day. The next one I mentioned is freedom. This is a value I've always known was important to me, right from being a teenager in my rebellious years. Freedom is a value I've come to appreciate deeply, especially as I've moved through various stages of my life. For me, freedom is about the ability to shape my life on my terms. It's not just about the big decisions, as I said, it's about having the flexibility and autonomy to make choices in everyday life that align with what feels good. Not in terms of short-term instant gratification, not that kind of good, but more a deep sense of knowing and self-trust kind of good. And this has been particularly true in my relationship with food and my health. For years, I, like so many, was caught in the cycle of restrictive diets and feeling trapped, unable to eat how I wanted or be the healthy weight I wanted to be. But it was when I was open to new ideas, when I became open to finding a different way to think about this, I was able to shift my beliefs so that I could create systems that give me more food freedom in how I eat and how I think about food. When we create structure and healthy habits around food, initially we might think we're restricting ourselves, but actually we are giving ourselves so much more freedom. Freedom from emotional eating, freedom from the negative thoughts we have about emotional eating. And that's not to say, as you know, not emotional eating is normal. I'm talking about when emotional eating is out of balance, when we have experienced the constant battle of trying to control what and how we eat. It's about having the freedom to listen to your body and make choices that feel good without being tied down by old habits or societal pressures or what I sometimes consider diet trauma. I want freedom from those internal barriers that held me back from living my healthiest, happiest life for decades, and I want to help you create that same sense of empowerment too. And again, freedom is not just about the choices we make in our daily routines. It's also about having the space to explore, to try new things, and to seek out adventures that enable us to feel alive. Freedom to me means stepping beyond comfort zones, being open to the unfamiliar, and embracing change as an essential part of growth. It's about having the courage to break free from routine and try something that excites you, something that sparks your curiosity and brings your joy. I am constantly reminding my kids and myself that the more we step out of our comfort zone, the bigger our zone of comfort becomes. When we move outside of our comfort zone, we get to stretch it. It gets to become bigger. It grows with us. I think that's a really fabulous thing. Exploration and adventure are really brilliant expressions of freedom. When you're free to seek new experiences, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities, whether it's traveling to a new place, engaging in a creative hobby, or learning a new skill. These experiences enrich your life and broaden your perspective. And again, these adventures don't always need to be grand or life-changing. Sometimes it's the small explorations. It could be trying a new type of cuisine, taking a different walking route, or simply spending a day outdoors that add a fresh layer of excitement and novelty to everyday life. Freedom also involves the space to pursue passions that bring you fulfillment. Perhaps it's exploring new ideas, reading, or immersing yourself in creative projects that feed your soul. These types of explorations help us reconnect with ourselves and cultivate a sense of wonder about the world. They will remind you that life is full of surprises and that you are free to design a life filled with moments that genuinely resonate with you, that you genuinely want. Okay, for me, this spirit of exploration also means the freedom to evolve, to change my mind, to redefine what I want as I continue to learn and grow. It's about not being boxed in by labels or past choices. I think that's always a big one. It is for me anyway, in terms of recognizing, kind of bringing the baggage of past choices with me, but instead allowing myself to let go of those and allowing myself to constantly adapt and pursue what feels most authentic and exciting. Trying new things, meeting different people, experiencing the richness of life's variety. All of this contributes to a life lived with intention and openness. And embracing this kind of freedom, you're not just creating a life you love, you're giving yourself the opportunity to fully engage with the world around you. Freedom then is also about finding joy in the journey. I'm always talking about that. Savoring also the unknown, being willing, just being willing, and also knowing that you are the author of your story. It's a call to live fully, to seek out what makes you feel alive, and to explore the vast possibilities that life has to offer. And I just want to take a moment to kind of remind you, because you may be here thinking, I need help with weight loss, not all of this kind of mumbo jumbo. But if you want to embrace the type of freedom in your life that I just spoke about, it's going to be so much easier to not use food to feel better. Eating a cookie won't compare to the sense of empowerment you'll feel as you experience true freedom in your life. And you have the gift within you to create that for yourself. Okay, the third one was growth. So for me, growth is about continuously evolving, learning, and expanding my understanding of the world and myself. Over the past few years, I've had the opportunity to grow in many ways, personally, professionally, and emotionally. I've learned so much from different experiences, from the clients I work with, and from my own journey through health and wellness. I thrive on new experiences. And yeah, it can be very easy to forget that when I'm staring down the barrel of something that is feeling uncomfortable, and I notice my kind of automatic reaction to not want to step out of my comfort zone. But even though I might feel some resistance at first, when I do, I'm always so pleased that I did. In the context of food and weight loss, growth is about recognizing that the landscape is ever changing. We have been given so much incorrect information about food and eating, about dieting and weight loss over the past 50 years. We've been brainwashed in so many ways. We have to now take responsibility for ourselves. We have to educate ourselves on food and nutrition and wellness, and we have to become the expert on ourselves. Our relationship with food, our bodies, and our health is constantly evolving, as I said, and that's a good thing. Growth means being open to trying new things, to learning from setbacks, and to always seeking out opportunities to better ourselves. It's about understanding as well that there is no end point when it comes to health. It is always going to be an ongoing process of learning and adapting. Okay, growth for me is also about, as I said, lots more than just my health journey. Okay, it's also about remembering that my brain, like my body, benefits from being challenged. When we actively engage in learning, we're supporting cognitive health and developing a richer understanding of the world. And this in turn enhances our ability to make better choices for our life in general, not just for health and well-being, because we will be viewing things from a more informed and more empowered perspective. So when it comes to learning experience and expanding our mind, keeping our brains engaged and active is so important and also so enjoyable. We get so much dopamine from learning, whether it's through reading, taking up new hobbies, or exploring different perspectives. So that might look like diving into a new book, attending a workshop, or signing up for a new online course, or even better, an in-person course. Learning stimulates our brains and gives us fresh insights, helping us become more adaptable and resilient. Okay. And then finally, there's beauty. Okay. And this is a value that I wasn't sure I wanted to include at first because I felt a little judgment of myself around the idea of beauty and all of the kind of negative connotations that can come with that. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that beauty does, and I want it to even more, play a significant role in how I live my life. For me, this is about appreciating beauty in all its forms, and absolutely not in a superficial sense, but in the way beauty can be found in everyday moments, whether it is appreciating beauty in nature, in the people around me, or in the food I am creating and eating. And I realized that taking time to notice and celebrate beauty brings me a sense of joy and fulfillment and peace that is important to me. So I would love you to take a moment to consider the beauty around you, the beauty of your own body, no matter its weight or appearance. Think of all the incredible things your body does for you each day. Your body is a complex and miraculous system that allows you to experience the world through movement, sensation, and emotion. It's easy to overlook the beauty of a body that breathes for you, that carries you, and that heals and regenerates itself, often without you even noticing. We're always taking that for granted. But when you start to see your body for its function rather than its form, you can begin to appreciate the true beauty of what it does for you. And then, of course, there's the beauty of life itself. Life is full of small, beautiful moments that can go unnoticed unless you take the time to pause and appreciate them. And yes, that can be incredibly challenging to do at times because life can also, not be great at times, and we can feel like huge boulders of obstacles and challenges are being chucked at us. But even when life is difficult, for whatever reason, sometimes thinking about the beauty, whether it's the beauty of the natural world around you or something else, can give you a moment of peace or appreciation. Perhaps it's a tree you pass on your daily walk, especially autumn's a great time to think about that when the leaves are ever changing. The changing colours of the sky at dusk, or the sound of birdsong in the morning. These simple encounters with nature are opportunities to connect with something more than yourself. Nature's beauty offers a reminder of life's inherent cycles of growth and change and of resilience. And by taking a moment to immerse yourself in these surroundings, you will be allowing yourself to feel grounded and connected to the world in a more meaningful way. There's also, of course, beauty in the food we eat, the food we nourish ourselves with. Healthy, delicious food that's thoughtfully prepared can bring a sense of joy and satisfaction. I love this idea of preparing food with love. It's not about preparing food that's full of ultra-processed bits that are going to give us a dopamine kick. It's about actually preparing that food with love, taking time and consideration to just do it really carefully. When it comes to food and beauty, we can think about the colours of a vibrant salad, the comforting warmth of a homemade soup, or the rich aroma of herbs and spices. When you take the time to prepare and enjoy a nourishing meal, you'll be creating the beauty of both the food itself and the act of caring for you and others. Finally, consider the beauty of a cosy, supportive home environment. This is something that's important to me. Your home doesn't need to be perfect or lavish to be beautiful. It simply needs to feel like a place where you can truly be yourself. Now, this might mean surrounding yourself with things you love, creating spaces that feel restful and comforting, or arranging your environment in a way that reflects your values and brings you peace. When your home feels like a sanctuary, it becomes a place where you can unwind, recharge, and feel safe. By appreciating these aspects of beauty, the beauty of your body, of nature, of nourishing food, and of your home, you invite more joy, connection, and gratitude into your life. Beauty, after all, is about celebrating the present moment and finding a decent appreciation for the world around you. Okay, so my 4 values again were connection, freedom, growth, and beauty. And they aren't just guiding principles for my future, I am using them to shape how I live every day, from the choices I make around food and health to the relationships I nurture and the goals I set for myself. And as I look ahead to the next chapter in my life, I'm feeling really excited to continue exploring how these values can help me create a life that feels authentic, balanced, and meaningful. And I would love for you to use this podcast episode as a reminder and hopefully a motivator to take a pause in the day-to-day of your life and think about what you value and how you can weave what you value into your everyday and into your life goals. And also think about it from the trajectory. I think that the trajectory is also really important on which you're headed. Your physical health trajectory or your emotional well-being trajectory, the trajectory that is about your relationships with your family and friends, or the trajectory you have for new things and adventures, for your profession or passions. Okay, and of course there's more. Very few areas of our lives are static. Each area is typically moving in one direction or the other. And what I mean by that is that each area is either getting closer towards what you want, so the trajectory is either taking you in the direction you want, or it's taking you further away from it. Health is a great example. It's all very well not being unwell, but not being unwell doesn't equate to being healthy. For example, if we're not actively nurturing our health, we might be slowly drifting away from the vitality we ultimately desire. Health is not just about the absence of illness. It's about feeling energetic, resilient, and being well equipped to handle life's demands. And the same goes for emotional well-being. We can go through the motions every day, but if we're not intentionally cultivating joy, connection, and self-compassion, we may be on a path that leads us away from the fulfillment we're hoping for. And the truth is, this applies to every aspect of our lives. In our relationships, for instance, a lack of conflict doesn't necessarily mean we're truly connected. We need to actively invest in our relationships, check in on our friends and family, nurture bonds and be present. Without intentional effort, even the best relationships can begin to feel distant or disconnected over time. So I encourage you to take a moment to pause, reflect on each area of your life. As I've mentioned, your physical health, your emotional well-being, relationships, personal growth, adventures, career, and even your sense of peace and purpose, and there will be other areas as well that are important to you. Ask yourself, which areas feel like they're moving in the right direction? Which ones feel like they could use a little more attention? And this pause can be brief. It could be a quiet hour with a journal and a cup of tea. Or it might be a longer weekend retreat where you can truly disconnect from the day-to-day and reconnect with yourself. The important thing is to give yourself that space to ask the meaningful questions. Am I on the path that feels right for me? What steps can I take to start moving toward the life I truly want? By intentionally taking a pause and reflecting on where you're headed and how that aligns with what you value, you will create clarity. And it's a chance to reset and refocus, making sure you're actively shaping a life that aligns with your deepest values and aspirations. So, as we come to the end of this episode, I want to invite you to reflect on everything we've covered today. I've shared the values that are currently guiding me: connection, freedom, growth, and beauty, and given some insight into how I'm using those values to shape the next chapter of my life. So again, where do you want to pause in your life right now? Where might you need to create space to reflect, to reconnect with yourself, and think about what comes next? Okay, all right. You might also be wondering, how do I know if I need to take a pause? What signs should I be looking for in my life? So I think that generally we all benefit from doing this from time to time, but here are some kind of things that you might be noticing in your life that mean that absolutely yes, you want to make pausing right now a priority for you. One is that maybe you're feeling a little bit disconnected from yourself or others. So maybe you've been so busy keeping up with responsibilities that you've lost sight of the deeper connections in your life, whether that's a connection to your body, to your loved ones, or to your own needs. So this might look like you always constantly rushing through meals without actually enjoying the food. It might feel like your days are going by on autopilot. You're getting through them, but you're not truly present. The other thing is if you are noticing that you're feeling out of control or overwhelmed, whether again it's with your eating habits, your work, or your emotions, this might be a sign that you would really benefit from pausing and regaining your footing. You might want to notice if you're making decisions that don't align with what you really want because you're coming at them from a place of overwhelm. Are you eating in a way that doesn't make you feel good, but you're not sure how to stop? Again, pausing and reflecting can really help you in this area. And another one, which I think comes up so often for so many of us, is noticing that you're stuck in old patterns that are no longer serving you. So ask yourself, or see if you find yourself repeating the same habits and behaviors, even though you know they aren't helping you move forward. Again, it could be around your eating, a lack of self-care, movement, or simply putting everyone else's needs before your own. If you've been feeling stuck, pausing can help you break free from these patterns and make room for new ways of thinking and being. Or you're just exhausted and feeling burnt out, constantly tired, either physically or emotionally or both. Maybe you're feeling like you're running on empty. This is a clear sign that your body and mind will benefit from a break. In fact, they just need a break. Okay, so how can you go about doing this? So if you recognize any of these, signs of what I've just spoken about that are kind of real alert stickers for the importance of taking a break, what does that look like in practice? So there's a few ways you can approach this. We talked about the taking an hour in a coffee shop with a journal. I love that. Or a weekend retreat. I love that as well. But it doesn't have to be kind of setting aside time for intentional reflection. It doesn't have to be a big dramatic pause. It can be as simple as carving out 10 minutes a day to sit quietly with your thoughts, to journal or meditate. The key is making this time intentional and using it to reflect on what's working on your life and what isn't. You can seek out journal prompts to explore your values and needs. Okay, I'll give you a few prompts to get you started. So you can ask yourself, where in my life do I feel most disconnected right now? What areas of my life make me feel overwhelmed or out of control? What patterns or habits am I repeating that no longer serve me? What do I need to let go of in order to create more space for growth and freedom? And you can also encourage you to use your own values and then ask yourself what they mean to me. And then to ask yourself how you can invite more of those values into your daily life. So if I was doing this, I would ask myself, what does connection, freedom, growth, and beauty mean to me? And how can I invite more of these values into my daily life? And actually, sometimes as a part of my daily journaling, I'm thinking about those 4 values and thinking, okay, how do I want to align myself with that value each in turn today? What am I going to do today that is me acknowledging, showing that I am, demonstrating really that these values are important to me and they matter. It's like, putting your money where your mouth is, or whatever that saying is. It's really showing up and doing it. Okay. All right, then. What else do I want to say to you today? Once you've spent time reflecting, you'll likely start to feel a sense of clarity about what needs to happen next. So pausing will give you the opportunity to step back, but reflection helps you move forward. So again, whether it's changing your relationship with food, setting new goals for your health, or making decisions about your career or relationships, the clarity you gain from pausing can guide you towards the next steps. And to help yourself with this, you might want to experiment with these journal prompts. So, what's one small step I can take today to move toward my goals? How can I incorporate my values, whichever the ones are that you want to use for you, into my daily life? What does progress look like for me right now? And how can I celebrate even the smallest wins? Okay. And that's pretty much what I have for you today. This episode is an invitation for you to slow down and to consider each area of your life. It's an invitation for you to create space to pause, to give yourself a chance to reconnect with what truly matters, and to assess whether you're on a path that aligns with your values and aspirations or not. It's about, as we talked about, looking at the trajectory you're on in your life in the different areas, and whether your trajectory is moving you closer to what you want or taking you further away from it. We spoke about how health, for example, isn't just about the absence of illness. It's about feeling vibrant and well-equipped to face life's challenges. Emotional well-being too requires intentional cultivation of joy, connection, and self-compassion. All right. Also, one final thing, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I want to take a moment to invite you to join my new deep dive mini program called Embracing You. Embracing You will run through the month of November, and it's an opportunity for you to explore your own self-image, let go of self-judgment, and put in place a trajectory for better loving and accepting yourself just as you are. It's for you if you're tired of feeling as though you're lacking in some way or uncomfortable in your own skin. It's for you if you feel like no matter how hard you try, you're not the person you want to be. And it's for you if you're constantly telling yourself you should be different, or you should have done things differently, or you should be better at it, or doing things more quickly. So all about that should word showing up for you. And when you join us, by the end of the program, you can expect to have a better relationship with yourself and your body. You will be more accepting of yourself and have found a way to embrace what you may think of as your flaws with loving kindness. You will feel more peaceful and joyful, maybe even unstoppable, as you go on to pursue whatever it is you want in life, whether that's better health, a step up the professional ladder, or starting that passion project. And the program consists of 6 self-paced online classes, 3 live coaching and Q&A calls, a daily workbook, and a self-appreciation audit. So if you want to find out more, go to www.thebestyou.coach/embracing-you, and I would love to see you there. I would really love to help and support you with this work. Okay, so that's it, everyone. It has been so lovely to be back and talking to you again. And I look forward to sharing future episodes with you. And so I will see you next week. All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and are ready to live a more intentional life, lose weight as a part of that journey, and create a relationship with food and yourself that you love, then I would be honoured to have you join the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy membership and coach with me. The programme offers different levels of support to suit you, including self-paced learning, twice weekly calls, private coaching, an amazingly caring community, and lots more. Find out all the details about when and how you can join at www.thebestyou.coach/coaching.